So I think the mic is muted.
Oh, thank you. Because I was speaking for hours and nobody heard me. Thank you, Azmat, for pointing that out. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our Facebook, YouTube Live with a different background. And I'm standing up today. Yesterday I was sitting. So, yesterday we had a really interesting conversation about the biggest fears. So, everyone is afraid of something. For some people, they are afraid of public speaking. Some people, they are afraid of very small stuff like a cockroach. Some people are afraid of singing, dancing, or using a new resource. Some people are afraid of using a new application. So everyone is afraid of something somehow. Darkness, education, riding a bike, a lot of things. But the whole point is, if you have fear, we should try to overcome that, because it's going to challenge your mind, your brain, and it will obviously open up new doors inside your head. It will help you create new patterns. It's more like you're facing your fears, is more like you're challenging yourself to do something new. So in that way, you're going to become really powerful and unstoppable. So face your fears and overcome your fears, and at the same time be careful when you face your fears. Be cautious. So we have different speeches today. Let's hear it. At the same time, dear learners, whoever is there on the backstage, please turn on your cameras so that we can see your faces. Without any further delay, let's invite our first speaker, Azmat. Please share with us what is your biggest fear?
Hello and good evening everyone. Today I'm here to talk about on the topic of my biggest fear. I know everybody has got at least one of their biggest fears in their life. So do I. My biggest fears are dogs and insects. You might think, what kind of a weirdo am I to be scared of insects? Maybe, I don't know. So, if we talk on the topic of dogs, it's actually a story. One day, I was going to a shop on the street. Suddenly, I saw a dog staring at me. I stared at the dog. It started barking on me. I was so freaked out. Then, suddenly, I think like 4 to 5 dogs started barking on me. Now I was a lot freaked out. I started running along the path, but somehow I was escaped by those dogs. And if we talk on the topic of insects, I even really don't know what's the reason why am I scared of insects, but somehow I do. I have been scared of insects. The most feared insect is spiders. I hate spiders a lot, but somehow I have been living with those such creatures in my life. So I hope everybody enjoyed my speech and hope you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Azmat, for sharing that. And yes, I think every one of us got chased by dogs at least once. I hope. One day there were like 3 to 4 dogs when I was just walking, minding my own business, and these 3 dogs started look at me, and then they started to run towards me. And I'm like, I don't know what to do, because if I start running on the other side, they're probably going to chase and catch me. So I decided to confuse the dogs. So what I did was I started to run toward the dogs, and the dogs got confused. They're like, oh, what is wrong with this person? And they stopped, and they just turned other side, and they just went by. And I'm like, wow, I just overcome one of my fears. I just confused the dogs, and they're not chasing me anymore. So it worked for that moment. I'm not recommending that to anyone. It just worked accidentally. All right. So next up, let's have let's have Hamshad. Over to you. Sorry, Talha, over to you.
Everyone has a fear. Everyone has a fear of something. Some people are afraid of wild animals, some are afraid of insects, and some are even afraid of the dark. Myself, I am afraid of the dark. Whenever I am in a dark room, I start imagining scary stuff. And when I am thinking of that, I start feeling things. When I was alone in a room, it was late at night. It was late at night, and once the electricity got cut off, and I was too scared to get off the bed. Then I tried walking slowly to the room, to the hallway, to reach my parents' room. I knocked once. They did not answer. Then the second time, also I did. They did not answer. Then I realized that I was alone. And when I wanted to get a call to my parents, what time are they coming back? And when I went to the phone was out of battery. So the electricity was not there, and the phone, I had a power bank. The power bank was also a bit low. So I charged the phone. I could charge it only till 5%. And then my parent I got a call from my parents telling that they'll be home in an hour or in a half an hour. And then my parents, after they told that the battery ran out and the phone was and the phone got off. And then and then I was all alone and I'm afraid of the dark, so I was a bit scared. And then I heard something scraping on the door, and I was a bit afraid of it, but I went and I just went near the door, and the voice became way more louder, and I was opening the door. Then I just got a shock from behind. So I just ran to my bedroom and then locked the door. And then after locking the door, I heard another voice under the bed. So when I looked under the bed, I saw something really scary and really big. So I ran to the hallway, and in the hallway there was another creature, and in the bedroom there was another creature. I did not know where to go. I was in the middle. And then the night went by, and my parents were on their way. And then they took the door key, and then they left, so I could not run out of the house. Plus, the noises were getting closer and bigger. And then and then I was running around the house, and I did not know what to do. And I even started crying. Yeah, I was only 7 years old or 9 years old at that time. And then there was a crazy chase, and all I seen was that it was a small kitten. scraping. And then the other voice, I did not know what it is. But it was not a large voice. I just saw something staring at me. And then, and then when my parents came back, I ran towards them, but it was not. But while going towards them, I fell down, and then the electricity came back, and the scary thing was just a blanket. That's all.
All right. That was a wonderful story actually. So I was like, what's happening? I'm like, is it real? Is it a true story? And then okay, it's a kitten and a blanket that scared you. All right. Thank you, Talha, for sharing that. Up next, let me invite I think Amira was here. Okay, Amira was here, but she's not here now. Let's invite Alia. Over to you, Alia. Alia, what is your biggest fear? Tell us about that.
My biggest fear is heights.
Have you gone somewhere and then you felt afraid? Did you go on a recent trip?
I was afraid when I went to the staircase.
Do you live in like a first floor apartment or something?
Yeah,
Do you always have to face the stairs?
no,
Oh, you don't have stairs, is it?
I have.
Okay, but you don't take the stairs.
Only sometimes.
Only sometimes. Okay. So why are you afraid of heights? Because it's tall. Okay, maybe I think that's the reason. Okay, Alia, do you have anything else to share? Or can I ask the next speaker? Shall we invite the next speaker? Or do you have anything else to share?
No.
Okay, let's invite the next speaker. Thank you, Alia, for sharing that. Okay. All right. Next, we'll have Anya. Anya, over to you. What is your biggest fear? Talk to us about that.
Okay. Okay. So, has anyone told you if you live your life with fear, that is weakness, but if you live your life without fear, then that is courage? Yeah, no. Because courage isn't living your life without fear. Courage is being scared to death and doing the right thing anyway. Hi everyone, I'm Anya De Silva, and today I'm going to talk to you a bit about my greatest fear. Now, when I heard this topic, I was like, oh, this will be easy. Guess what? I was wrong. Now, don't misunderstand. It's not that I'm scared of nothing. On the contrary, I'm scared of everything. heights, tight spaces, dragonflies, the dark, my sister, my mom. I mean, who isn't? But then I was like, well, what's my greatest fear? What am I most scared of? And when I got my answer, it just proved how pathetic I am. Now, don't get me wrong, I feared this for a long, long time. But my friends and family were always there, so I was like, oh, I'm not scared of this anymore. Guess what? I was wrong. Again. Now, this kind of reminds me of something. Have you ever seen those weird, scratchy black thingies? No? I think it's called scratch art or something. So, anyway, when you scratch this black paint off, it's a whole colorful array underneath it. It's quite beautiful. And that is what my fear looks like. It looks like nothing at first, but when you scrape it forcefully, there is definitely something there. That's what my fear is. Not colors. No, no, no. But my fear of being alone. Yup. Being alone is my greatest fear. I am like, if you know me, I'm quite a social person and very extroverted. And I mean very extroverted. So being alone really scares me. And I'm not talking about being home alone because I am not Kevin McAllister. Trust me on that. I'm talking about the sentimental, emotional kind, like being lonely. I really, 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 really stress on the really. Do not want to die alone. And now don't go all Wednesday on me and say, everyone dies alone, Nanya. And I know that. I'm just not good at listening. So why does being alone scare me? Well, I think one of my favorite things to do is spend time with people and talk with them. So the idea of not doing anything with other people, it really, really scares me. So thank you for listening to me emotionally rant about being alone. And remember, fight your fears and you'll be in a waging war forever. But face your fears and you'll be free forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Anya. I think that was wonderful. And I think one of the best messages that we all, uh, I think something that I want to share as well. There's the difference between being lonely and solitude. I think solitude is the word. You enjoy your own company. So some people misunderstand loneliness and solitude. So some people are like, I, I'm afraid of being lonely, but they're really comfortable being with themselves, with their own company, which is called a solitude. So I think people should understand the difference between, I'm comfortable with my own company versus I'm afraid to be alone. Right? I think that's something, maybe do a Google search, because I did not know these kind of two terminologies existed before, but it is extremely important. If you are not comfortable with your own self, you can't be comfortable with anyone. So that small message kind of happened inside my head, and I'm glad that Anya brought that topic up as well. Next up, let's have Amira. Amira, over to you.
I'm Amira Anwar. I'm here to speak about my biggest fear. Many people have their own fear. Some are fear of climbing up. Some are fear of darkness. Some are fear of speaking in front of many people. I have two biggest fear. One is I'm afraid of speaking in front of many people. The occasions, like the situations which I get more afraid to speak in front of everyone is in a competition and morning school assembly. Those times I get very afraid of speaking in front of every people. Before I go on speaking, the when I look at the crowd, I feel more fear. I think like if when I'm looking at them, I feel like will I miss any words over there? Others will they think something about me? And sometimes I will think like after speaking, if they ask me on a question, how could I reply them? At that time, I think much, and then um, I'm really very afraid when speaking in front of everyone. That's the most difficult thing that I had, and I thought that I could overcome my speaking the fear which I'm afraid of speaking in front of everyone. From like I had that thought I'm supposed to participate on public competitions, and in the morning assembly also participated. From that time I overcame my fear of speaking in front of everyone. Another fear which I have is the biggest one. I'm fear of darkness. Nowadays, every time they're supposed to this the current goes on. So when I look at the darkness, I remember all the horror movies that I watched, and I feel like the ghosts are near me, and then I feel lot of imaginary things on that. Thank you. Hope you all enjoy my speech.
Thank you, Amira, for sharing that. I think public speaking is like the most common fear that a lot of people have. And the moment they overcome that, they can succeed a lot, because public speaking is a must. I would say everyone should be good at public speaking. They should be able to share whatever they think is right. They should be able to share their opinions. Whatever they have learned, they should be able to share with others. So I'm glad that all of you here decided to learn this wonderful skill, spend your time and overcome that fear. And thank you for sharing that, Amira, again. Next up, let's have Disane. What is your biggest fear, Disane? Share with us.
Hello, my biggest fear is darkness. One day there was a power cut at night and I am alone at home. I felt no one there was to take care for me. My thoughts were on goats. Luckily, in few minutes, the power cut was over.
Oh, are you done? Okay. I was like, you just said it and you didn't even say thank you. I'm like, oh, are you done or should I wait?
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay, now it's complete. So, fear of darkness. I think there's a lot of power cuts. Like every single day, you have power cut, and maybe a lot of people are overcoming the fear of darkness because of that. I think that's the only good thing. But it's not like I support power cut. I just said it because maybe that's something that's happening. All right. Thank you for sharing that, Disane. Let's invite the next speaker. It's going to be Hamshad. What is your biggest fear? Share with us, Hamshad.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Hamshad, and I would like to talk to you about my biggest fear. Well, I do have some 2 or 3 fears, but let me tell you one. Well, it is to talk in public. Whenever I talk in public, I get nervous because sometimes when I get wrong, some people laugh at me. So that is why I am afraid to talk in public. That is why I'm joining this class to overcome the fear. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Hamshad, for sharing that. And you have identified your fear and then you decided to overcome that. I'm glad. Next up, we have someone from here. Let's have Kehan. Share with us. What is your biggest fear? Tell us more about it.
Hello guys, today I'm going to talk about my biggest fear. My biggest fear is my insects. Someday in my home, I saw a insect on top of my net. So somehow it was a dragonfly. it was flying around my head. I was so afraid that it could fly into somewhere to my or it could land. So I I tried to catch it and threw it to the window, and that happened. And he was flying away in the, let's say, in our garden. So the next day, I was watching a film about a uh, in a like a channel. There was a insect eater I didn't like. He was eating grasshoppers, anything that is real. So it was so gross. I even off the TV. Only my brother watched it because it was a little bit cool for him. So I kept watching it, and it was still gonna be my new fear. So I kept watching it, and it keeps getting more. Let's say the insects getting more suffering. So I again off the TV, and I watched with the iPad. It was the same thing, but I managedly got out from this fear. So my message is to all of you is do not be afraid of insects. If you are afraid of like still afraid of insects, this could happen. Fear kills growth. That means when you're grown, you are still like a child who's still afraid of that thing. So thank you.
Okay, let me make the camera a little bit up. All right. Thank you for sharing that, Gehan. Fear of insects. When people eat insects alive, it's a little scary as well. So I think we have to learn about insects anyway, because some insects are poisonous, some are not. If a random insect comes and bites me and I choose to ignore it, what if it was venomous? So even though it's a little disgusting to learn about those, I think we might have to spend some time, because all of us someday we are going to go on hiking. Yes. All right. Next up, let's invite Yumika. Share with us.
Some of you might know me. I'm from the last class we had at Saturday. Hello, guys. I'm going to talk about your biggest fears. I know all of you guys have embarrassing, very stay away fears that you have. We are going to talk about that and make you face them, face the fears. So today we are here for that. What is your biggest fear? My biggest fear is tight spaces. I've seen a lot of videos that people allowed to go in to go inside caves and climb them. So see if they can stay alive in those caves. So one day, my friend from New Zealand texted me that I'm going to show you a video. So he sent me a YouTube short that I watched. It was a man who died while climbing through a cave. He was trying to get through it so hard and he died. So I watched it. We have a group of friends of 3. They were very best friends. One was very careful, named Then one was careful. One was careful and careless about everything. And one was very smart, and the other one very much liked climbing through caves. So three of them are very good at climbing caves, but not experienced as the first one. That I told you guys by experience. Then one day he was looking at books on the library. He found a book that has lost caves. So he was interested in the most dangerous ones, like the most tightest spaces, most dangerous. He was searching for it, and he gave up searching for it because he doesn't have, and he can't waste his time on a little tiny cave. So when he was returning, he saw the small, tiny cave near him. He already passed it. He said, how didn't he know about that? Yeah. Then we got all attention when he went inside the cave. It was very tight. He mostly get through that cave. He was most experienced in the cave ever. He read books about it again and again. He know every part of it. And he took a wrong turn and he was stuck in a small, tiny dead end. It was so tiny, it was like this. He can't fit all the way around. So the smart one actually called the fire department immediately, and the fire department arrived quickly, and they produced oxygen to the man in the cave. He was breathing well, but 21 attempts later, the man didn't get out. When they were trying to get the advanced equipment, it was too late. The oxygen tank exploded inside because of pressure. It was very fiery when they get there. So for the rest of eternity, it was the tomb of that guy. So my message to you is, face your fears, but be aware there are lots of things that you can get ahead, and be cautious. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. That was a very powerful, deep story. Let me find the mic. Okay. So thank you everyone for sharing your biggest fears. I think it was really helpful for everyone to just discuss about these things. I think it's important for us to discuss about these things. What are my fears? What are the things I'm scared of? What are the things I can improve? What are the things I'm struggling with? How's my relationship with my sister, with my brother? How's my relationship with my parents? How's my school life? Am I enjoying the school life? So all of these things, the more you discuss with other people, you discover new things and you find ways to overcome that. And because most senior people, they're experienced in almost everything and they can always guide you as well, right? So thank you so much everyone for sharing that, and we'll see you all next week on Wednesday. Until then, have a great day, have a great evening, relax, talk with your friends, talk with your parents, have a good conversation. Bye-bye.
We're rolling. Excellent.
Bye.
Right. Be it on stage, off stage, at a boardroom meeting, in a conference, name the location, it does not really matter. If you lack communication skills, you're always going to feel uncomfortable, even if it's a one-on-one conversation with a good friend, or even facing something that is absolutely crucial, like an interview.
Communication skills is the most important element that everybody is looking for. Why are they looking for good communication skills? Let's understand this. Communications connect one another. They bring you and groups of people together. They help you bring about the message that you have and what it is that you want to bring out of yourself in order for people to have faith, trust, and understand what it is that you understand differently. Communications help understand the differences and the similarities of people. Join the ICP.